Hello, folks, and welcome back to Gearbox Podcast, your weekly dose of podcast. I'm Nick,
And I'm Moxie.
and today we've chosen to do something a bit different, unlike our preview and post race videos that we do on this channel. We've chosen to change the script a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to F1 Legends, a series where we're going to talk about team principles, drivers, and car mechanics that have changed the sport, like from the start till the end at this moment in this season. So, Moxie, what is our topic for today?
Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is such an interesting and experienced driver, and he brought a whole new era to the sport. So it is really interesting to talk about this driver, and of course as a personality, since he was the first dark-skinned color driver in Formula One and won, and he was one of the youngest back in the days drivers. So let's talk about the first season that he joined the Formula One. But before we do that, let's just go back to Nick and hear a few things about about where he was born and all that stuff. Nick, back to you.
All right, so Sir Lewis Hamilton, just like you said, the first dark-skinned F1 driver, was born in the 7th of January 1985. He was born in Stevenage, Hertfordshire, England, and he has the nationality of British. He is driving for the Mercedes F1 team at this moment, and he's a seven-time world champion. As everybody knows, he has equaled Michael Schumacher's record for the most world championship titles. He has a total of 103 wins, the only driver who has passed Michael Schumacher with 91 wins, currently holding the most wins in Formula One, 190 podiums in Formula One as well, 4,381.5 career points, 103 pole positions, and 61 fastest laps in a race. His first ever entry was in 2007 Australian Grand Prix with his team McLaren, who was alongside Fernando Alonso, a really controversial season, who Kimi Raikkonen won that season, a season that went to the last race in Brazil. His first ever win was a beautiful one in the 2007 Canadian Grand Prix, bringing it home with the McLaren team, and such a great race that was. His last ever win was in the 2021 season. Still, he hasn't scored a win this year. But who can forget that beautiful race? He gave it an amazing drive there, Lewis Hamilton, and he still goes on. He hasn't retired still, but he still goes on. He's a beautiful driver, and hopefully we don't finish seeing him early on. So, Moxie, what can you tell us more about Lewis?
Yeah, a few years later, Lewis Hamilton decided to move to Mercedes alongside his karting teammate Nico Rosberg, and in the next year, in 2014, he got his second World Champion. As in 2008, he's got his first one, and he became the youngest Formula One World Champion at that time. And in 2015, he's got his third time world champion in US GP in a remarkable Grand Prix where he gave it everything. And in 2016, it was a major loss from Lewis Hamilton to Nico Rosberg by 5 points. And at that time, we got that shock retirement by Nico Rosberg after winning Hamilton. What do you have to tell us about that, Nick?
Yeah, I can't forget that beautiful season. It was such a thriller. And congrats to Nico Rosberg. You know, that silver civil war that it has been called since then. It definitely gave a nice spectacle. Obviously, Mercedes in the 2016 season, since the turbo hybrid era, actually, since 2013, Mercedes were all over the place. getting the constructor championships and the driver championships, having an unbelievable first and second driver and a beautiful car as well. They managed to have a good result since then, and that beautiful 2016 season, just like I said, a really controversial one actually, because Rosberg actually wasn't following team orders all the time. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton, the fan favorite, as he was a three world champion at that time, unlike Nico Rosberg, who hadn't had a world championship title back then. He was not the fan favorite, Nico Rosberg. He managed to, although, get that championship in 2016, and we all know that after that he decided to retire, and he was being replaced with right now the Alfa Romeo driver Valtteri Bottas, who really worked as a second driver, just like you know, but definitely he paid a really big result to what Mercedes has done over the years. Right now, Lewis Hamilton has the youngster British driver George Russell, who is really looking really strong at this moment. He was expected to be a second driver actually, but he's really showing some good results, being ahead of Hamilton in the driver championship and bringing some good results. But I mean, you can't forget the good old Hamilton showing still, even though in the age of 37, such a good result, showing that age does not matter. What do you think, Moxie?
Yeah, I mean, talking about Nico Rosberg, it was really sad to see two car teammates have such a great rivalry, and yeah, they their connection and their relationship got even worse after Nico Rosberg got his first world champion. I remember Lewis Hamilton being really angry at that time, and yeah, just such a great friendship turned into a rivalry. But still, for us, it was really good as we saw a battle between these two drivers, and at the end, Nico Rosberg got that championship, that world championship in 2016 by 5 points. So, yeah, as you said, age doesn't matter since Lewis Hamilton has proven that, and he is a really experienced and talented driver till this time. So let's move on to 2017 until 2020, when Lewis Hamilton got 4 titles in a row, equaling the record set by Schumacher after winning the 8th World Championship title. That was such a remarkable accomplishment by Lewis Hamilton, as he equaled a record set by one of the greatest Formula One drivers in history, Michael Schumacher. What do you have to tell us about that, Nick?
He definitely had his prime in 2020, but since Rosberg left, he was really the first driver you were looking up to Mercedes. So he managed to get the championships not that easily, I should say, in 2017, 2018, and 2019. He had drivers like Sebastian Vettel and Kimi Raikkonen up his tail, challenging him all year long. And unfortunately for Vettel, he didn't manage in the Ferrari to snatch that drivers' championship, his fifth actually. Uh, but again, Hamilton really showed his masterclass, and with the beautiful team, some great mechanics, and his beautiful racing style, he managed to get the seventh world championships, and that beautiful, remarkable actually, I should say, 2020 season where he left Bottas Verstappen for way back the sport, and he managed to bring a great result. Unfortunately for him, he didn't manage to win that infamous 13 wins in a row that actually Max Verstappen has recently broken from Michael Schumacher's and Sebastian Vettel's hands. Uh, but still, Hamilton shows that results don't really pay the result, but the results themselves. And he has done some great driving through all these years. Well done to Lewis. Back to you, Moxie.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Nick. Yes, as you said, his three world champion titles in 2017, 2018, 2019 weren't really easily won by him, since there were drivers like Sebastian Vettel and Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen who were challenging him, but still he proved to himself that he's a really good driver and overpassed those obstacles. So let's talk about 2021, the dramatic loss against Max Verstappen. Such such a great battle between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, and I think that Lewis Hamilton got mentally depressed after that loss and losing the chance to be the first eighth title winner and world champion and surpassing Michael Schumacher. What do you have to tell us
Um,
about that, Nick?
Definitely. Obviously, when you are so close to passing one of the greatest Formula One drivers in World Championship wins, you can understand that it's not that easy to forgive from yourself. Of course, Max Verstappen brought such a good fight up against Lewis Hamilton. And what a great season that was till the last race. And not only till the last race, but they were equal on points. But unfortunately for Hamilton, he didn't manage to get that after Nicholas Latifi had that spin, causing a safety car, which helped Max Verstappen switching to the soft compound and having um, a faster car at the last lap where he passed Lewis Hamilton. And in a moment that you were saying Hamilton is going to win his eighth world championship, and he, on the very last lap, he lost all hopes on winning the eighth world championship. Now, let's go to his public image and influence he has given to the world. Of course, he is a Formula One driver, but he has definitely given a pretty big result in our today's world, um, giving such a good chance for little kids who are really struggling with money. His philanthropy and activism against, especially against racism, that has helped world stand back on their feet and remembering that we are all humans. Just like in the 2020 season, where he was the first driver who came to the FIA and said, "Well, we are, of course, against all this violence," and being the first driver to support Black Lives Matter, and of course with the Black Lives Matter shirt that he was wearing all 2020 season, he is really up there in activism, of course, with the LGBTQ community, against homophobic people, showing that every person deserves to have their own voice, and since we are all humans, we have rights. What do you think about that, Moxie?
Yeah, we can easily say that Lewis Hamilton is the Formula One driver that has influenced a lot of people nowadays and previously. When we hear Lewis Hamilton, we all know, no matter if we watch Formula One or not, we all know that he's a Formula One driver since his victories at the Grand Prix and his titles as made him be one of the greatest Formula One drivers. About his actions and supporting all the LGBTQ community, the Black Lives Matter, and all that stuff. Yes, he is. We can easily say that he's a really good character and a character that supports all the thoughts of the humans. And I remember in 2020 him supporting the Black Lives Matter, since he was and he still is the first and the only dark-skinned color driver in Formula One. I hope that someday that's going to change, and we're going to see other drivers from other countries and African countries as well go to Formula One. So now let's talk about 2022. It's a season that changed a lot of things. All the regulations were changed, and we can easily say that the Mercedes car was undrivable, and that caused Lewis Hamilton having a chance to compete to the other Formula One drivers. Back to you, Nick.
Yeah, unfortunately for Mercedes, they started a really bad Formula One season because of the regulation changes. They had a brilliant car in the 2013 season till the 2021 season. Since the cars hadn't changed a lot, they had found that sweet spot where they managed to have these great results, but unfortunately for Hamilton and Russell, they are still trying to make that car that will give them chances for wins and maybe some world championship titles. But unfortunately for Hamilton and for Mercedes in total, they still haven't gotten a single win this year. Of course, they've gotten some good podiums with Russell and Hamilton. Let's not forget the last race in Mexico, where Lewis Hamilton managed to get that sweet second place, and of course in a USGP where he was so close on winning the race, but Max Verstappen overtook him on the last laps. You can understand that Mercedes are getting back close to championship fights, and hopefully for them, they will manage to do so.
Yeah, next season I think we're going to see Mercedes back at the form. So I'm full right now. Do you want to add anything else, Nick?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. We hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, our first ever episode on this new series for people that have really changed the history in Formula One. And make sure you like and subscribe this video so you can support as much as you can. And we will see you for a next F1 Legends episode. See you guys.
See you guys.